see it differently, but then you have to understand we have still individuality. Okay. Don't worry about those things. Later on, you all can do the research. We are individual, and we are part and parcel, and we've discussed what part and parcel means. Okay. Even though we are covered by so many different layers of different elements and ego, but we have corrected our ego now, and so we see ourselves relating to Krishna. Due to false ego and due to the contamination, the Mayavis think they are merging into the impersonal affiliate, but that is not true here. Prabhupada wants to make sure that we understand clearly that we are not merged. We don't merge, even though we appear to be merged in the material body. So we don't merge into a spiritual sense. Okay. So whether this material, whether this devotee, he is serving in the material world or in the spiritual world, he is always liberated.
That verse is 10th canto, 43rd chapter, 17th verse.
10:43:7. What is the 43rd chapter?
Krishna kills the elephant Kuvalaya.
Kuvalaya. Okay, that's the chapter.
43:17.
Yeah.
There's a verse in there's a verse in Bhagavatam about this, right?
Which one?
The body becomes spiritualized, something like that.
We just mentioned that.
No, there's another
verse. I don't
something
know.
I can't remember.
Yeah, this is the verse I was saying. It's a very long one. We all can memorize this. It's nice. You can appreciate Krishna. Actually, we should, because our acharyas all know this very nicely. And Navin Krishna Prabhu also. Krishna Prabhu knows many ways.
I just remember this. There's one more beautiful verse when Krishna is entering the forest of Vrindavan.
Yes.
That's a beautiful verse. I can't start remember.
There's another verse also about Krishna. Brahma prays to Krishna also about how he doesn't see Putana. And that one also. Those are the verses that attracted Sukadeva Goswami.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Text 15. Manyamanas tadatmanam anasto nastavan vrisha naste ankare nedrasta nastavitta ivaturaha. The living entity can vividly feel his existence as the seer. But because of the disappearance of the ego during the state of deep sleep, he falsely takes himself to be lost. Like a man who has lost his fortune and feels distressed, thinking himself to be lost. It's interesting, this verse. Prabhupada says, only in ignorance does a living entity think that he is lost. Now, I am not sure, but I have experience also that when something happens and if you have no control, right, you feel lost. Anxiety, don't know what to do. I don't know whether you all have. Maybe you all are so pure you don't go through it.
I'm so covered. You don't feel it.
That's the right word.
Covered is a good.
So, so I can relate to this, it's like, my God, what to do? What can you do? So has come to that situation that you really don't know what to do. Then the only thing that you can do is to turn to Krishna, actually. Because there's no one can help you. Actually, honestly, you don't know who to ask. Nobody can tell. They say, no, I'm sorry, Prabhu, or this or that. And then you don't know. The only solace is just give up, that's
Surrender.
Yeah, exactly. When you surrender, you get peaceful. Actually, you'll find that you become really peaceful. And this is many things you will learn as you are growing in your Krishna consciousness. Hopefully you don't go through so much painful experiences. But if you take the humble position, you're surrendering your ego. You know, whether you are right or you're wrong, you take the humble position, you feel better. I remember once many years ago I was like unfairly accused. Personal experience. So
They were telling me Giriraj Maharaj asked you something.
huh?
Giriraj Maharaj inquired.
No. Anyway, I'm just going to say this. So it was really, you don't know what to do, and you are trying to tell, no, this is what happened. They don't believe you. They really don't want to believe you. So what can you do? Right? So then somehow or other I asked for forgiveness. At that moment I said, I don't know what to do. So I said, ask for forgiveness, went to the Lord and said, I don't know what to do. But because you ask for forgiveness and then it's difficult, that the Holy is so intense experience because of all this thing, ego and so on. But luckily we have the teachings, Srila Prabhupada, and the experiences of other devotees. So that will help us if we can recollect, or the Lord can give us the memory at that time. You pray and then you give up that attachment to that feeling that you are right. You surrender that. And then you find that you become peaceful. The thing doesn't affect you. But if you hold on to that, you cannot sleep, you cannot do anything in your life. Because I've gone through those things. I was telling Madhiji many years ago, one experience. Couldn't sleep for almost a month. Every night I would think of that incident, another incident. It was a painful experience. But as soon as that was the first time. Then later on it was easier when people accuse you. Sincerely. You can't fake it, because if you fake it, you will feel it. So when you sincerely, Krishna, you take care, because I really don't know what to do. And then Krishna will take care. And he's in your heart and you feel peace in the heart. So that makes sense. Only in ignorance you will be lost. Only in ignorance. So whenever we have conflicts or anything, it is because we are in ignorance. It doesn't matter who you have, with your boss, with devotees, with your wife, with your children. It is when you have conflicts, it is ignorance. It could be Krishna conscious conflict, but that's different. Like if you go to GBC meeting, they're all trying to do good for the movement. So they may fight and they may argue and shout at each other. It's true. That's how I've seen those things. They'll argue with each other. But they're doing it for the betterment of the society, for the pleasure of Prabhupada and Krishna. So that is okay. But at the end of the day, they all are friends. But they don't think, oh, okay, this guy told me, I will remember. They don't do that. I will wait. One day I will get you. If you think like that, then it's material. Only a materialist want to take revenge. So as devotees, you are supposed to practice
Forgiveness.
Oh, rain again.
Forgiveness.
Yeah, a devotee practices forgiveness. The devotee does not hold grudges. Because he understands everything is
Temporary.
yes, and coming to me.
Yes,
That's why you need to know some of these verses and try to relish what it means, not just, oh, I know this and memorize it. Pointless. You can quote the whole Bhagavatam, and if you don't have the bhav or the practice in it, it's pointless. Sometimes you go to a class, amazing class, but then you don't practice it. What's the point? Right? The speaker also may be giving he may not or she may not even practice it. It's not what Prabhupada did. You see Prabhupada's classes. It's simple but cutting to the point, to the heart. So we have to develop like Prabhupada. Huh?
Yeah, very straight. Like new people, when they hear Prabhupada, they get attracted to Prabhupada.
They won't argue anything.
Yeah, they
say
don't
yes.
argue, they just get warm. You guys so clear, sharp, and to the heart.
Yeah, so we have to, that's our Acharya, we have to follow in his footsteps. Speak the same way. We leave the technical things to the scientists, devotees, and technical devotees. And they can, and then you can appreciate, they can present it nicely. Yeah.
Krishna gives enough opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. So in our process, as Prabhupada always said, cooperate, which means there's always going to be conflicts.
Middle world.
Huh?
Middle world.
Yes. Not only that, he already knows. Prabhupada already knows it's going to be a difficult thing, conflicts. Our job is to learn how to work and tolerate. Everyone is a devotee, different level, different way they're expressing, but it's okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your lucid, presentation. Even if they are angry, you take it as something. Maybe you deserve it. Maybe you don't know. Maybe a million life ago you offended something or somebody, and that punishment may come through another devotee. It is like that.
That's what I heard.
Huh?
Once I heard, like, we all have to get reactions, right?
Yes.
So now, because now we only deal with devotees,
So it comes through
it
them.
comes through our dearmost devotees,
Yes.
especially family members, everything, because we have to feel a pain. If non-devotee comes and tells us anything, we don't care anymore, right?
Right.
Because we don't have a relationship. So when dear devotees hurt us, then it pains a lot. So that we have to go through that pain.
So we see Krishna in it. And then you see Krishna is so kindly trying to help me because I am arrogant. I am proud. I think I am the controller. So he's trying to help me. I mean, Krishna can only help us.
Yeah.
He cannot do anything to us. That's because he wants us back home, right? So why would he want to keep us here? I'll get revenge, you stay there. We feel like that, right? But he doesn't. I heard one devotee one time, she mentioned this in a class, and I appreciated very much what she said, because it was so. She said when in karmic world, everyone tries to pull you down. They'll find fault and pull you down. In devotee world, everyone should push you up. So that's the practice we should also develop. But if you're not doing your sadhana bhakti properly or reading Prabhupada's book, you cannot get that intelligence. You will depend on what intelligence? Material intelligence. And that's where you will make bad judgment and decisions. So you need to read more, listen to Prabhupada's lectures, conversations, see how he deals. So then you develop those culture. You don't have a culture. We don't have that culture. Prabhupada has it. So by imbibing his behavior, his understanding, how he dealt with certain situations, we may not be able to do all of it, but you will develop the culture. It's important. That is the awareness of a liberated soul. So we have to cultivate those things, Right? And if you behave in that way, you actually reflect it on your children. Remember we were talking about reflection, the sunlight, and so the Lord's thing is reflected. So same way. Prabhupada's father, right, never chastised him. It's interesting, but his mother would chastise Prabhupada. So Prabhupada's father always chastised. But when he chastised, how he chastised? So you're not reading... You guys are not reading Prabhupada's Leela.
I read it.
Prabhupada chastised Prabhupada, but he then explained why he chastised. He explained to him exactly why. Then he said, I have to punish you now. But modern day, they don't punish at all, nor do they explain why he or she did wrong, right? Modern upbringing is like that. So therefore, the child thinks he is the controller. They become emperors and queens from the very day they are born. So they demand. Right? You've seen how nasty some kids are. I remember one time I was walking out of the temple and one Mataji was coming in. She wants to go to the temple. She's dragging her son. And I said, I'm not coming in. I'm not coming in. Then I stopped and I was shocked. Temple is here. The mother, I said, I want to take darshan. No, I'm not coming. Go away. I'm going to stay here. Then I told the mother, leave him here and you go. I said, don't let this guy control you. You are the mother. He has to listen. The boy just looked at me. Because it's a ridiculous situation. Isn't it? They say, oh, the psychology, child won't grow up. The guy is already a rascal. And then you make him a bigger rascal. And this is all ignorance. This is what Prabhupada says, ignorance. And you get really lost. So therefore, Prabhupada gives a very good example of what this thing is. He gives an appropriate example is mentioned here. Nasta vitta iva turaha. A person who has lost a great sum of money may think that he is lost. But actually he is not lost. Only his money is lost. Right? Not just money, you have lost your wallet or anything, or even some ID card. Right? Or you left your japa bag. How many of you have lost your japa bag? Oh my God. But how many of you found it?
I found it after 1 year.
Yeah.
It was in the
Yes.
bus.
No, I mean I knew where it is.
Exactly, you knew when.
I knew exactly. It was in
After
Canada.
1 year, you remember?
No,
No.
But
I
because it
remember
was in
reading it.
Vancouver, we couldn't get it immediately.
Yeah, so I told one devotee and then he kept in his home.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Mine, I left it in the bus. So next day bus, I actually
Same place?
I called the King County and then asked them.
And they said they
got it.
okay. Well, that's fortunate.
I
But
lost my
you
glasses.
felt right. How did you feel when you lost your japa bag? You felt lost, right?
Just test my
That was my initiative. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
And we had to ask Maharaj to get another.
But that was not my initiated beats now. Initiated, I keep very safe.
Doesn't matter how you feel lost.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the point. So it's like that, for devotee, certain prized possession.
And that bag, chanting bag was also, I think, who gave me
Special.
that? That was very dear to me.
Okay.
Yeah, that bag was also.
Yeah, we were given by Maharaj the bag and beads both. And Maharaj was there with me when
Lost it.
when I found that I was in Seattle. Driving him back.
All right, well, let's continue. So Prabhupada is giving how, even though he wasn't lost, the money was lost. We feel like that. But for big bag, it's a different situation. But I just wanted to highlight the feeling of how you feel you lost. Yeah. Or if you have friends and then you argue and all your friends reject you, then you feel lost. But actually, you have
Krishna is
always
your
with you. He is your
Best friend.
best friend. Yeah. Suridam Sarva Bhuta. He's always your best. So you can sit and say, Krishna, you are still here? Why are you not abandoning me? Or you can say, Krishna, you have never abandoned.
But that doesn't come so easily.
I know, but I'm saying you have to think about it now. If you don't think now, when are you going to think? We tend to rely on our material things, and then we can never depend on Krishna. So these are opportunities to depend on Krishna more, and then you actually advance. You get more realization. The next time you read the same purport, you understand it in a different, nicer way, and you can explain to people, and they appreciate your explanation because there's realization.
There's a verse where Prabhu they say, Krishna, to whom I give special mercy, I take away everything from them.
Yes, yes.
So that they don't have any other
Yes,
shelter
yes,
but
yes.
depend on me.
Yasyaham manubrani.
Manubrani, yeah.
Yes. Right. Dukha dukitam.
Prabhupada remembered when
Yeah, when he lost his business.
Yes.
You always felt, I wanted to be successful, but Krishna purposefully took away everything.
No, he was later
Realized.
when he became a devotee. Then he quoted.
Connected.
He was connecting everything as a mercy of the Lord.
You can see how Prabhupada connects everything.
No, you have to. We have to see Krishna connected. So when you have some difficult experience, you try to look for Krishna.
Yes.
Yasyamya harisya tatanam shaya tatodanam tyaganasya swajana dukkha dukkha.
Friends, relatives, everything. Abandoned them.
Yeah, you can see that, right? You experience this. You will experience such things in your life. Yeah, Krishna will show you these things. Huh? Then you know who are your friends and who are not your friends. Yeah.
He suffers
If
distress one
you
after
are
the
not actually ready for that, it's very painful.
Yes, but then Krishna tests you to see how, maybe you are ready to do it, but then the choice is yours still.
Yeah.
To take it up or not, to fully surrender or not, it's still yours. Krishna can't force us. So the test will come for us to take that leap of faith.
Prabhu, that line says, in this way he suffers one distress after another.
Yes.
So it's an external distress, because pure devotee doesn't have.
Yeah, he feels distressed because he's a good person, good devotee, but he's still in the material world dealing. He's not giving it up. So Krishna is pleased with him, and now he's giving him the problems to say that these things are all temporary, not going to help you. Yeah. So this is a very nice thing that Prabhupada is giving us. Such a amazing person Prabhupada is, He wants us to really not get into all this difficulty situation. He's giving us the blueprint, just like the Mahatattva is the blueprint and the Virat Rupa is the blueprint, and all of them are different levels of blueprints. And so it's a blueprint for us to take care of ourselves. So Prabhupada continues in another example he gives later on. When one forgets his identity in deep sleep, he becomes absorbed in dreams, and he may think himself a different person, or may think himself lost. But actually, his identity is intact. This concept of being lost is due to false ego, and it continues as long as one is not awakened to the sense of his existence as an eternal servitor of the Lord. So when you experience difficulties, the pain, you sit in front of the deities and you cry and say, it is painful, but I know it's good for me. You can cry and say at that time, I am going through, because the suffering is real. The pain is real. Yeah. But you should use it to get out of these entanglements. That is what we are meant to do. Then Prabhupada says, the Mayavadi philosophers' concept of becoming one with the Supreme Lord is another symptom of being lost in false ego. It's a fact. They don't really understand. So, and then one may falsely claim that he is the Supreme Lord, but actually he is not. This is the last snare of Maya's influence upon the living entity. To think oneself equal with the Supreme Lord, or to think oneself to be Supreme Lord himself, is also due to falsehood. Because they want to enjoy separate from Krishna, and then after a while they think I am God. So many yogis are like that, no? And they don't want to admit. Just like, remember Vishikesha in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time? So he started to say, I am Krishna. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur confronted him, he said, it's okay, they don't know, it's alright, like that. This is what happens. When you see around you, you're the only one who has some yogic power, what do you think? I am better, I must be God. If you don't have Krishna consciousness, you will think like that. You think, I must be God. I must be a supreme person somehow. That philosophy makes more sense when you have no knowledge, But that's not how it should be. Okay? Text 16. Evam pratyavam rishyasam
Evam pratyam vishyasam
atmanam pratipadyate
Atmanam Pratipadyate
sahankarasya dravasya
Sahankarasya Rasyasya
yovastanam anugraha.
Yovasthanam Anugraha.
When by mature understanding one can realize his individuality, then the situation he accepts under false ego becomes manifest to him. The Mayavadi philosopher's position is that at the ultimate issue the individual is lost. Everything becomes one and there is no distinction between the knower, the knowable and knowledge. But by minute analysis we can see that this is not correct. Individuality is never lost, even when one thinks that the three different principles, namely the knower, the knowable and knowledge, are amalgamated or merged into one. The very concept that the three merge into one is another form of knowledge. And since the perceiver of the knowledge still exists, how can one say that the knower, knowledge and knower have become one? How intelligent is Prabhupada? Okay, continuing. The individual soul who is perceiving this knowledge still remains an individual. Both in material existence and in spiritual existence, the individuality continues. The only difference is in the quality of the identity. In the material identity, the false ego acts, and because of false identification, one takes things to be different from what they actually are. That is the basic principle of conditioned life. Similarly, when false ego is purified, one takes everything in the right perspective. That is the state of liberation. So then Prabhupada quotes, everything belongs to Ishavasham idam sarvam. Everything exists on the energy of the Lord. And yet the Lord declares, I am not there. Even though it is coming from the Lord. Prabhupada's point is very important here because the problem is the Mayavadi philosophy is very pervasive. Very pervasive. So we should not become lax. Don't become lax, Sometimes we may want to preach and then someone will say, but I'm, oh yeah, okay, no. We cannot accept that, We have to be, at the very beginning, we have to make it very clear. Therefore, he's giving this understanding that even though everything is coming from the Lord, everything exists on his energy, we are not Krishna. We are not separated and then merged back again. Okay, so therefore he says, even though it's not different, but still the Lord declares, I am not there in this case because he is where? In Goloka Vrindavan. He is separated through his energies. What is that?
This is the cellular phone.
Oh, I thought last time we had it on top, I thought it was a camera or something.
He is dependent on connect to my phone. Connect to my phone.
I downloaded it.
We can connect.
Yeah. So if you don't have this understanding, then you will think everything is one. That's what Prabhupada is trying to point out, And if you don't, and because of false ego, we think everything is one, like a Mayavadi. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. So Prabhupada says, when one clearly understands one's constitutional position, everything becomes manifest, clear. How you see it very clearly. Oh, this is the energy of the Lord acting in different ways. Otherwise, you think everything is the same person, same one. So then Prabhupada gives this The example given in the previous verse is applicable here. Due to absorption of one's identity in his money, when the money is lost, he thinks that he is also lost. But actually, he's not identical with the money, nor does the money belong to him. When the actual situation is revealed, we understand that the money does not belong to any individual person or living entity, nor is it produced by man. And ultimately, everything is the property of Krishna.
And when in Gujarat, there was an earthquake happened. So there was a village where actually the epicenter of the earthquake. And the entire village singing.
Wow.
Latur.
Huh?
Latur.
No, Latur is in Maharashtra. I don't know exactly which place, but in somewhere in west of Gujarat. Like, the entire village singing, and there was a very rich guy, but he had lots and lots of wealth. Everything was underground. And in Gujarat, and he was like crying. He doesn't know because there is no coordinates.
Yeah, you can't tell, yes.
The entire village is gone, and then he was outside when this happened. And then when he came back, there is nothing. It's just plain ground. He was like crying and crying. He was in one.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Like actually, I can see.
You can
this,
relate.
Lost.
Lost. And then he lost everybody, his friends, everybody.
It was literally lost.
No, he's been liberated by the Lord. Text 17. Now again, Mother Devotee is questioning. So she wants to know, okay, I understand we are all trapped. How to get out? Huh?
Very nice question she
Okay.
asked.
Devahute uvacha Purusham prakritir Brahman
Purusham prakriti Brahman.
Na vimunchati karhichit Anyonya pashrayat vacha Nityatvad anayo Prabhu. Sri Devahati inquired, my dear Brahmana, does material nature ever give release to the spirit soul? Since one is attracted to the other eternally, how is their separation possible?
So this question I had, like, Devahuti, when, let's say, her son was small, she's the one who nurtured him and maybe gave some knowledge also, right? But when he grown up, how she was able to perceive that he's actually more advanced than me and I should inquire? Like, usually, we see what is born of me is, or rather, yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, I think Kapila Dev didn't like grow slowly or like that.
Oh.
I don't believe these are demigods,
He was incarnation of God.
Yes. So then, my understanding is he took birth and became adult immediately. Yeah. And so he's already realized person.
Do you have any examples of, like, in our ISKCON society where son becomes more advanced and the mother takes instruction?
You have?
Yeah, many times parents become devotees because of
After
children.
the son, that is true. But she's asking in ISKCON devotees like that.
I think the one in Boise,
Boise.
yeah, Radhika Pati. I think
Radhika Ramani.
seems to be more advanced. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, but
say
they
about
don't
it.
like take shelter of him.
Yeah, he won't show like that.
Gender of
Also.
him, maybe that's too much. The age also is there. Right?
But advanced, yeah, he is it.
You can see the person who is advanced. And
He is it. The sons are more advanced than the parents. They understand the whole philosophy very
Because
nice.
they get the culture from the beginning. We would have taken up, like, very late, right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we can't put, okay, that's a good point. And yes, if we have good culture, maybe we may have benefited also. But we can't worry about what has happened in the past. No? We already here. Like Prabhupada says, when you're drowning, don't worry about why I'm drowning, rather than get out of it. So yeah, like that. And here she knew her son was an incarnation of God already. Yeah. So you can see there is some awe and reverence already displayed here.
And in Vedic culture also, right, when father leaves,
The son
the
is.
sons take over. So
That
in
is true
relation
also. That is true also.
The parent has to listen to.
But this is culture. Again, it's a cultural
culture,
situation,
They
and
don't
the,
listen. They actually.
No, that is a true, real.
No.
They do.
Because of the love, they actually, they do. It's not the son is telling the parents, okay, this is what
No,
you
that's
should do.
love, but culture Prabhu is saying that is a culture.
no, like the father leaves and the son takes over. That's cultural. In those times, not now. It should be, but not. Most parents don't leave. They stay at home and try to raise the grandchildren. Because they made a mistake the first time, they want to fix it the second time. But it doesn't work because the kids want to grow their own. Culturally, the parents are supposed to retire from all that. It doesn't work nowadays. No? But anyway, here you see Kardama Muni left and Kapila, they took over. Because remember, she said, you can't live without giving me a son. Yeah. This question is amazing, no? So she is telling our problem is because we are attracted to the material nature. How is their separation possible?
So Kumara also asked the same question.
Different way.
Yes, Brahma, not Brahma.
Yeah. They are more different than this. Prabhupada writes, although one may understand that spirit, soul and matter are different, the actual separation is not possible, either by philosophical speculation or by proper understanding. The spirit soul is the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord and matter is the external potency of the Lord. The two eternal potencies have somehow or other been combined. And since it is so difficult to separate one from the other, how is it possible for the individual soul to become liberated? Alright, then Prabhupada later on, towards the end, he says, this question asked by Devahuti or Kapila Dev is more or less impelled by the philosophy of voidism. The voidists say that consciousness is a product of a combination of matter and that as soon as the consciousness is gone, the material combination dissolves. And therefore there is ultimately nothing but voidness. This absence of consciousness is called nirvana in Mayavad philosophy. There you go. So she wants to also make sure what the right understanding is.
So she want to make sure are they separate or if that would be.
Yes.
Okay.
So he will make it very clear. So she also wants to make sure it's not impersonalism or voidism. That ultimately there's nothing.
Oh.
Text.
The first part is essentially the question: does material nature ever give release to the spirit soul?
Yeah. That we know. Prabhupada already answered. Question hasn't been answered. We're just going to next text. Text 18. Yatha gandhasya bhumischa nabhavo vyatirekataha apam rasascha yatha tatha buddhe parasya cha. There's no separate existence of the earth and its aroma or of water and its taste. There cannot be any separate existence of intelligence and consciousness. The example is given here that anything material has an aroma. The flower, the earth, everything has an aroma. If the aroma is separated from the matter cannot be identified. If there's no taste to water, water has no meaning. If there's no heat in fire, the fire has no meaning. Similarly, when there is want of intelligence, spirit has no meaning. Text 19. Akartu karma bandhoyam Purusasya yad ashrayaha Guneshu satsu prakrite Kaivalyam te shvata katam. Hence, even though he is the passive performer of all activities, how can there be freedom for the soul as long as material nature acts on him and binds him? Very smart, maybe. Prabhupada says, although the living entity desires freedom from the contamination of matter, he is not given release. Which is our position, right? Because we all know something and we desire it, but it doesn't happen. Right? We think, why just somehow Krishna take me back. So that's the thing. So as soon as we are in this material world, the three modes are already acting on us. Our body is made of three modes, our senses, our everything is combination of three modes and ego, So therefore it's virtually impossible. And we think we are actually doing it. Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated that it's very difficult to get out of the clutches of material nature. What verse is that? Yeah. One may try in different ways to think that everything is void in the ultimate issue, that there is no God, and that even if the background of everything is spirit, it is impersonal. This speculation may go on, but actually it is very difficult to get out of the clutches of material nature. Devahuti poses a question that although one may speculate in many ways, where is liberation as long as one is under the spell of material nature? The answer is also found in Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Only one who has surrendered himself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Mameva Prabhutanti, can be freed from the clutches of Maya. So Prabhupada says her questions are very intelligent. How can one be liberated? How can one be in a pure state of spiritual existence as long as he is strongly held by the modes of material nature? This is also an indication to the false meditator. There are many so-called meditators who think I am in the Supreme Spirit Soul. I am conducting the activities of material nature under my direction. The sun is. And so, I mean, it means people are thinking like that. Otherwise, Prabhupada won't write all this. How strongly they think they are controlling you. My God. So much in illusion. Prabhupada says they think by such contemplation maybe they can become free. But it is seen that just 3 minutes after finishing such nonsensical meditation, they are immediately captured by the modes of material nature. Right? They meditate and then they get up, smoke a bidi or a cigar or take some tea, like that. Prabhupada also once joked about one person who claimed to be a god, but then he had to go to a dentist to take out his teeth. Right? So then continuing, this question of Devahuti is for such a person who falsely claims that he is everything, that ultimately everything is void, and that there are no sinful or pious activities. These are all atheistic inventions. So this is Buddhistic philosophy. Actually, unless a living entity surrenders on to the Supreme Person of Godhead, as instructed in Bhagavad Gita, there is no liberation or freedom from the clutches of Maya. If you don't have Krishna's, description of the material energy and how to get out, then we also won't understand how to get out. We think what to do. He says, unless you surrender, this thing is not going to give up. So what does it mean for us? Yeah, the positive thing is that we should surrender. What is the negative thing?
We can't get out if we don't surrender.
Yeah, we are trapped eternally, actually. Cannot get out, actually. Impossible. That means there is no way out. Okay, just give up all your nonsense if you want to get out.
Only Kripa Siddhi can.
That's the other thing, we all hoping for Kripa Siddhi. But yeah, we should pray for Kripa. Nothing wrong. We should pray to Prabhupada. Please take us out somehow or other. But that should be our prayers. Or we'll stop for 10 minutes, then we'll do text 20. Okay?